Good evening and welcome to the Daily Report this Tuesday. My name is Victor Muyakane, and of course on sign language we have none other than Rhoda Nyamai. Tonight we have a smorgasbord of things to offer you. First of all, we'll take you around the country and our world with the news, and you're about to find out what's happening across our world. But later on, we have the People's Court. And on the People's Court tonight, devolution is on trial. The judge, the jury, and if so needed, the executioner is you, my dear Kenyan, my dear viewer, and I. The questions will be mine, the answers will be yours. And one of the questions we want to ask and require your participation in this is this. Do you believe that the counties of Kenya are delivering on devolution? Do you think or believe that the counties are delivering on devolution? Perhaps you could even personalize it. Do you believe your county is delivering on the dream of devolution? The answers are simple: yes, no, or maybe. Send in that feedback. There will be a QR code on the screen. That is how we can sample it live and direct. Now, you can look at it right now. That is how to do it. Scan it, send in your feedback, and it comes to me directly. The set is ready. Later on this evening, we shall have 3 panelists as well as your representatives on my right. The stage is set, the court is ready, the conversation is boiling, just about to hit the boiling point. We are the People's Court, but first, the Daily Report through the highlights. The Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen has announced that a stronger police presence will be deployed at stadia to stop unticketed fans from sneaking in.
If the capacity of the stadium is exited, you can easily have a massive disaster and a security challenge for all of us.
Kenya joins the global community in celebrating International Youth Day, with a spotlight on youth unemployment as a pressing issue. An excitement is building in Homa Bay as the county prepares to host the much-anticipated Devolution Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to take a bit of a moment to just appreciate where we are. Thank God that we are alive and our ship sets off right now. As the Harambee Stars prepare for their must-win clash against Zambia this Sunday at Kasarani, the focus is not only on their performance on the field, but also on how well the Kenyan fans will behave in the stands. The Confederation of African Football is keeping a close eye on events after recent security breaches at matches, which have already landed Kenya in trouble with heavy sanctions. Any repeat of unruly behavior could see the national team forced to play the rest of their fixtures outside the country.
Licha ya vijana wa Harambee Stars kuendelea kuandikisha matokeo bora katika mechi za dimba la CHAN, tabia za Wakenya zinazidi kuwakera waandalizi na washikadau wa kandanda nchini. Kumeshuhudiwa vurugu ambayo nusura igeuke kuwa mitagusano.
The message is clear: behave or get punished for it. It's a big task. We remember exactly how buoyant, how encouraging our fans were for the team that was in the stadium fighting for that 1-0 against Morocco. The message is clear: if the fans don't behave, then our boys are going to play to an empty or perhaps even hostile stadium. Something to think about. Now, moving on to other things, and the Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen has downplayed talk of a bitter dispute between the National Police Service Commission and the National Police Service over salaries, recoupment powers, and who controls day-to-day operations in the force. Speaking at a security forum in Nakuru County, Murkomen said that there is no reason for the public to worry and promised to bring the two sides together. He pledged to align their roles so that the police service can function smoothly and in unity.
During his security tour in Nakuru County, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen described the standoff between the National Police Service Commission and the National Police Service as nothing to worry about. Murkomen saying the gap in responsibilities over police salaries and recruitment between NPSC and NPS is a matter he intends to resolve, as he promised to meet the Inspector General Douglas Kanja to end the impasse, while stressing that there are no major differences between NPSC and NPS.
I want to assure Kenyans that there is no cause for alarm, as the Cabinet Secretary will transmit the regulations. And to start with, I have a meeting tomorrow with the Commission and the IG, and then we will work together until we find a solution.
Previously, the mandate-related dispute between the two sides had escalated, forcing both to appear before the Parliamentary Security Committee to answer questions on their policies and roles.
Yeah, there has been previous debates around the role of the Commission and the role of the National Police Service itself, insofar as recruitment and sometimes payroll issues are concerned. I just want to say that we will always strike a balance in terms of what the Commission can do and what the National Police Service can do.
Murkomen also pledged that the recruitment of 10,000 new police officers will be conducted transparently, issuing a stern warning to anyone giving or receiving bribes during the process.
We are going to stand very firm against the people who are going to take bribes in the process. We want to realign our public officers and to make sure that their work is properly done.
He further warned leaders inciting violence and promoting divisive politics and tribalism, adding that the government will also intensify efforts to fight drug abuse and criminal gangs in Nakuru County.
We will not condone acts of incitement, especially by persons who are looking for votes. Sometimes they call themselves leaders. We're not going to condone incitement, especially when it involves inciting ethnic tension and ethnic fights.
Now, health services across Machakos County have been thrown into turmoil as the nurses' strike drags into its fourth day, leaving patients in public hospitals without essential care. During an impromptu visit to the Machakos Level 5 Hospital and the Kangundo Level 4 Hospital, Senator Agnes Kavindu found deserted wards, locked units, and patients left without any nursing attention. She called on the county government to urgently intervene before the situation worsens.
Maana wamedecide wakalay down their tools. Kindly meet their grievances so that they can come back to work. Or you find a solution, you see what you can do to assist these people. Mtu ako in pain, ako na cancer.
Niko hapa kwa ajili ya kijana wangu. Alishomeka, so alikuwa anapata treatment hapa. Na from last week anjapata matibabu, aoshwi. Ako tu hapa na amedischargiwa. So sijui nifanye nini.
Hapa niliadmitiwa June 23. Niko na miezi almost 3 hapa. Nikiwa nimelala hivyo. Na niko na almost 1 week. Nikiwa sipati madawa na nikiwa sintresiwe. Tupati painkiller, hakuna mwenye anatusaidia. Tunaona madaktari tu wakipita, tukiwaita hawaitiki, wanatuambia kila mtu ashughulike na maisha yake.
Wanasema tu tumeambiwa tusifanye kazi. Wanasema hivyo. Mwenye ana nini ajipange. Sisi tunaumia hapa. Sisi makosa yetu.
Now, in other news, Defense CS Soipan Tuya has confirmed that investigations into the Todonyang massacre, which claimed 41 lives and left dozens injured, are ongoing, led by the National Police Service. Since the attack took place within Kenyan territory, Appearing before the National Assembly Defence Committee, CS Tuya also revealed that the Ministry of Defence is in the process of acquiring land in Turkana to establish a military base aimed at preventing such deadly incidents in the future. Samira Mohammed with the details.
Cornered by the Parliamentary Committee on Defence, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, Defence Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya faced a tough grilling session as she appeared before the committee.
1 people died, and the Interior Minister came next day.
The committee demanding a firm action and clear answers from the CS and her ministry over the February 2025 Todonyang massacre in Turkana County, where armed assailants believed to have crossed over from neighboring Ethiopia killed 41 Kenyan civilians, with many still reported missing.
But that notwithstanding, investigations into the said incident were undertaken, but outside the Ministry of Defence.
The committee further pressed CS Tuya and her Principal Secretary Patrick Mariro on the government's strategy to secure Kenya's northern borders and prevent future attacks. In response, Tuya revealed that the Kenya Defence Forces are in the process of acquiring land in Turkana to establish a military base aimed at curbing such security threats.
We have a process going on for acquisition of land, and this is in collaboration with the Turkana County government to enable us to establish permanent camps along and forward operating bases in areas prone to insecurity.
Tuya assured the committee that investigations into the Todonyang massacre, which left 41 people dead and dozens injured, are underway and are being led by the National Police Service since the incident occurred within Kenyan territory.
The incident took place within our internal waters in Lake Turkana, and therefore making the involvement of the Kenya Defence Forces very limited.
Samira Mohammed for TV47, Nairobi.
Now, Kenyans across the country came together to mark the International Youth Day with celebrations held in several counties. Young people used the occasion to speak openly about their expectations from the government and the future of the nation. In Nairobi, Lamu and Machakos, the conversations were especially charged, with discussions ranging from ending police brutality to tackling unemployment and combating climate change, of course, and redefining the role of the youth in national development. Sheila Chalangat with more.
While marking International Youth Day in Mathare, Nairobi, a section of human rights defenders have called for urgent reforms in the police service, citing the unending cases of police brutality witnessed in the recent protests in the country.
Tunataka polisi waache kuua vijana. Na tunaambia vijana, if we want to change the status quo, tunataka kubadilisha hii mambo isifanyike tena, then ni lazima wachukue kura.
As the debate over justice for victims of police brutality continues, human rights defenders have emphasized the need to include them and youth representatives on the compensation committee, which is chaired by Professor Makau Mutua.
If the government were actually serious about compensating these young people, they don't need to start a committee.
Vijana ndio waliuliwa. Tunataka vijana pia wakwe kwa hiyo committee, ndio vitu ziko kwa utaratibu.
In Lamu County, the youth used today's platform to call on the government to establish technical training programs that would equip them to tackle the challenges of climate change.
The taxation required processes, they are very tedious, na pia the youth needs to be wapate kuelewa how things are supposed to be done.
In Machakos, more than 250 young people called on the government to create a formal program for funding youth-led agribusinesses and even to allocate land to them.
Hatuwezi kuwa sisi kama vijana tunashinda tukilima. Hatuwezi shinda kama vijana tunashinda tukilima, alafu kidogo unasikia gava imeimport GMO food, gava imeimport mahindi kutoka nje, gava imeimport sijui nini. hawana time yetu.
Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
And still in keeping with the same theme of youth empowerment on International Youth Day, President William Ruto has announced that the government is rolling out bold and long-term measures to address the country's youth unemployment crisis. Speaking during the International Youth Day celebrations in Kakamega County, the president admitted that Kenya has for years lacked a comprehensive plan to create a meaningful spate of opportunities for young people. He outlined new strategies, including the launch of an investment bank for youth-led enterprises and a stronger push for technical and vocational training to equip young people with practical skills.
Our Kenya Jobs and Economic Transformation Project, worth 20 billion, is also poised to support 42,000 enterprises, 600 business clusters, providing financing and facilities to scale up youth-led ventures. The Center for Enterprise, in partnership with Germany, will train young people in high-value industries at 6 special economic zones that are under construction. To further support youth-led enterprises, we shall, before the end of this financial year, launch the Youth Enterprise Investment Bank, capitalized at 9.75 billion, to provide financing, credit guarantees, and capacity building for young people in enterprise. Nyota aims to enhance youth employability, expand access to employment, promote savings, and strengthen youth employment systems and project management.
Now, the Devolution Conference opened in vibrant style in Homa Bay today, with the newly constructed Lake Victoria Pier becoming the heart of celebrations. Residents and visitors were treated to a colourful display of traditional games as well as cultural showcases, from boat racing to wrestling to the popular board game Ajua. The activities drew thousands of cheering spectators and rekindled a sense of community pride and cultural heritage that had long been missed.
Sounds and ululations, drum beats and cheers fill the air at the Lake Victoria Pier. The excitement is palpable as competitors take to the waters in boat races. Wrestlers grapple for victory, and Ajua boards spark tense moments among players.
We have played so well. Yeah, I'm the champion of today, and I'm always doing that.
Nitakupenda kushukuru hii michezo ambayo tumecheza Homa Bay Town for governor. Na hii michezo iko sawa kwa sababu sasa hii tumejulikana.
But while the games brought joy and unity, some participants voiced concerns over the challenges they faced, from event organization to calls for better appreciation and support in the future.
We are playing just every day, but it's just ending like that. But what we can request our governor or the people who are organizing this game for us, let us just not call us to come and play and leaving us just like that.
Organizers insisting that the traditional games remain a crucial way to unite communities and celebrate culture. The Beach Management Unit Chair, Edward Oremo, says the new pier will not only host such events but also improve transport efficiency on the lake.
The transformation of the pier in itself is a huge plus to Homa Bay County in terms of communication and transport. Particularly, you know that we are surrounded by the lake, and it's easier and safer to travel through the lake from one side of this county to the other counties.
The pier has become more than just a docking point as it turns into a hub of culture, sport, and unity, setting the perfect tone for the rest of the Devolution Conference week. Brian Odhiambo, TV47, Homa Bay.
Now, over 11,000 delegates and stakeholders have already arrived in Homa Bay County ahead of the official opening of the 2025 Devolution Conference on Wednesday morning. Security has been tightened as leaders, development partners and county officials prepare for discussions on the progress and challenges of devolution 13 years after it was introduced. Now, many of those attending say that they are eager to hear President Ruto's speech, hoping that it will outline fresh strategies to strengthen the system and bring more resources closer to the people.
Homa Bay town was a hive of activity as the traffic surged in and around the venue of the 2025 Devolution Conference taking place at Homa Bay High School. In an unusual turn of business, local traders seized the opportunity by tripling the prices of their goods and services, aimed to cash in on the influx of visitors attending the high-profile event.
Town iko imebadilika, naona barabara zimetengenezwa, street lights ziko, biashara imekuwa mzuri. Mimi ni mama wa biashara, biashara imekuwa mzuri kabisa.
Kwa mama mboga, boda boda. So everybody is very happy.
Residents say the impact of devolution is clearly visible and many remained hopeful and excited ahead of the official opening ceremony which will be presided over by the president tomorrow.
Tangu nikuja hapa naona barabara imetengenezwa, maji iko, kila kitu iko sawa, hospitali zimetengenezwa. Sasa acha tupe president wakati afanye kazi yake vizuri.
Tena ameleta badiliko kubwa kwa Homa Bay. Nimeona badiliko kubwa kwa biashara, soko, maendeleo inaendelea kabisa.
To give the town a facelift and enhance accessibility, street lights were installed and roadways named, measures aimed at helping guests and delegates easily find their way to the conference venue.
I can see a big change.
Mpaka sahi nimeona devolution imetusaidia kabisa Homa Bay. Tena imeleta mabadiliko kubwa.
Chichi, Josephine, TV47, Homa Bay County.
And still in Homa Bay County, Homa Bay Town was brought to a standstill today as traffic jams snaked through its streets, with fleets of vehicles ferrying visitors to the devolution conference venue at Homa Bay Boys School. The event, set to be officially opened by President Ruto on Wednesday, has turned the usually quiet town into a hive of activity. And for local traders, business is booming.
These are the scenes at Homa Bay High School, where exhibition tents for the devolution conference are bustling with activity. With over 11,000 delegates and stakeholders converging here to showcase achievements and present recommendations marking 13 years since the inception of devolution.
We are very happy to be in today's devolution, very excited, and the theme is very good because it says is for the people, and it focuses on saying devolution is a catalyst.
Stakeholders says devolution has brought essential services closer to the mwananchi, transforming how government interacts with its citizens.
Tuyazungumuze, tusiyafiche chini, tuondoke na tuyaseme, ili watu wetu waweze kusaidika.
And with this being the 9th edition of the conference, there is growing expectations that the national government will deepen its collaboration with the county government to ensure seamless resource disbursement. Delegates and stakeholders have arrived here in Homa Bay County to showcase both government and private services in an effort to enhance relationship between the two levels of government.
In Farm Africa and of course in our program Youth in a Sustainable Aquaculture, we do a lot of partnerships with the county governments, especially the Directorate of Fisheries and the Directorate of Agriculture.
Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo says security has been beefed up outside and inside the venue to guarantee safety of stakeholders and invited guests.
So for guests who are probably will be operating from Kisii County or Migori County or Kisumu County, we are giving them the assurances that the coverage is not just limited to Homa Bay County. And when you talk about Homa Bay County, we are not just talking about Homa Bay Town. Yes.
The Council of Governors Health Committee Chairperson Muthome Njoki has called for a review of how resources meant for health are shared between the two levels of government, insisting that a larger percentage of the budget appropriated at Parliament should go to devolved units.
when the legislative arm of government realizes that they are not in competition with the counties, then we will have better opportunities for counties.
President William Ruto is expected to officially open the conference on Wednesday morning. Mike Kagwango, TV47, from Homa Bay County.
Okay, from Homa Bay back to the capital, but the subject matter of the next question is still connected to what's happening in Homa Bay. The QR code is on your screen, and tonight we ask, do you believe that the counties will deliver, or rather are delivering, on devolution? That's the question we ask you tonight. The answers are simple. Just go through the QR code on your screen, scan it with your phone, and send in your answer, and I'll be able to see it live and direct. Later on, when we start the conversation, we shall show the results of that poll. The ones on X are already responding. If you are on X at TV47 News, we can already see your voting for this particular poll, and we can see your results. Once the voting is finished, we shall be able to reveal that to you. Let's participate in this conversation that is about you and I. Let's shift gears over to something else entirely. And Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has assured communities in the northeastern region that the government will not relent in ending what he described as discriminatory national identity card vetting practices. Speaking during a regional tour, Kindiki said, rather also pledged, that all stalled government projects in the region will be completed by 2027. Among the top priorities, he said, will be the construction of the Isiolo-Mandera Road, a 750-kilometer stretch seen as a lifeline for trade and connectivity in the region.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki on Tuesday reached out to northeastern communities during a meeting with members of parliament from the region at his current residence. Kindiki assuring the MPs that the government will not relent in its quest to ease the discriminative ID vetting processes meted on Kenyans from the region.
I'm a great advocate of inclusion, equity, and the indivisibility of Kenya, and I believe every part of Kenya needs to be treated equally, and the places that have lagged behind needs affirmative action.
He further reaffirmed the government's commitment in providing universal health coverage, stating that 25.4 million people have registered with the Social Health Authority.
By the time we go to the election, we'll have nearly 35-40 million Kenyans with a medical cover. That's not a small measure.
The DP also championed for the affordable housing project, explaining that it will extend to Wajir, Garissa, and other counties.
We are not saying everybody will have a good home, but you will reduce the number of people with low-quality dwellings and increase the number of people with high-quality dwellings. In any case, Kenya's future is urban.
On infrastructure, Kindiki assured that all stalled projects in the region would be completed. He also pledged the construction of the 750-kilometer Isiolo-Mandera highway, describing it as crucial for opening up the region to trade.
Contractors who had abandoned road construction sites 6 years ago, they have now started going back.
The leaders from Northeastern welcomed the pledges on infrastructure, citing it as the most significant in the region since independence.
We want him to come back, we want this government to come back, and we want all those projects and programs to take off. And for us, for the first time in 63 years, now is when we consider ourselves the citizens of this country.
We are aware there are individuals who have taken time to profile this community, the community that we represent, including calling us Al-Shabaab, including questioning some of the deliberate government policies. This is the time to push back that narrative.
Reporting for TV47, my name is Mudhoni Brenda.
All right, we're about to take a short break. Let's see you on the other side. Please keep it right here.
Also coming up after the break.
Tonight, we turn the spotlight on Kenya's devolved units, asking a critical question. Beyond the glamour of exhibitions at the 9th Devolution Conference, will counties rise to the occasion and deliver better services to the people?
Hey kids and families, get ready for the most fun-packed show around, Kids on the Block. Join us for awesome music, magical storytime adventures, and super cool arts and crafts. Plus, we pop tasty treats in our cooking corner. Learn, laugh, and create with us. Kids on the Block, where every day is a brand new adventure. Don't miss it.
Rise and shine with the ultimate morning power play from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join Fred Indemuli.
Time for us to take a look at the headlines this morning
as he takes you straight to the heart of the nation on Morning Cafe. From breaking down political intrigues to unpacking the stories shaping our country, this is where tough questions meet hard truths.
The president says he has cancelled, then they say, Igwe.
Stay ahead, stay informed, and stay connected. It's your go-to morning fix on politics, policy, and the pulse of the nation.
Raila Odinga has put Kenya's interests first for many times.
The State of the Nation with Fred Indemuli, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. only on TV47. Your morning, your nation, your voice.
Business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. Richard Branson.
All right, welcome back. If you're joining us right now, this is still the Daily Report with me, Victor Muyakane, and Rhoda Nyamai on sign language. Now, we are sort of at the halfway point of this entire broadcast, but I'd like to invite you to take part in this conversation that we're about to have on the People's Court, and it's about devolution, the past, present, and future of our country. And to that, there's a QR code on your screen right now. Scan it. There's a question there. Answer it. I'll get the results, and that will be part of the conversation that we have tonight. But now let's go over to find out what else is happening in our country and in the political world. DAP Kenya Deputy Party Leader and Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya has announced a breakaway faction in the party, DAP Team Tawe, which he said will push for reforms in the embattled party. And of course, as our political reporter Apollo Kamau reports, the announcement came hours after DAP party leader Eugene Wamalwa accused President William Ruto of orchestrating the party's downfall, a statement that was dismissed by Natembeya, who walked out during a party press conference telling Wamalwa to stop dragging outsiders to the party's internal woes.
A meeting convened by DAP Kenya party leadership to solve the growing leadership crisis ended in disarray after the two top leaders, party leader Eugene Wamalwa and his deputy Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya, read from different scripts.
Members wetu katika counties.
Governor Natembeya walking out from a joint party press conference in the company of Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula to hold a press conference hours later where they announced themselves as a DAP Kenya Team Tawe, calling for reforms in the party to make it a national party.
But sisi wala ambao naona tuko hapa tunajiita DAP Team Change ama Team Tawe, wala ambao tunataka mabadiliko. Kuna wala wengine ambao walikuwa infiltrated na watu kutoka kwa Ford Kenya, mnaojua SG Ford Kenya, Sujina Ford Kenya walikuja kwa DAP.
We had a meeting today, yes, but Eugene opened up. He said there's a leadership dispute because Natembeya wants his position. So we'll subject the decision of the committee to NEC. Whoever is strong, let him lead the party. And as we follow. And that is the only thing. A leader emerges. If Eugene will emerge, sawa. If it's Natembeya, sawa.
Wamalwa, who earlier on Tuesday held a joint media briefing with the entire party leadership, including Natembeya, accused President William Ruto of plotting the party's downfall, only for Natembeya to tell him later to stop dragging outsiders into the party's wars.
We have our eyes open. We will not allow you to kill democratic parties such as ours or to undermine multi-party democracy. We know that in Western Kenya you have all the other major parties under your control. ANC is gone, of my big brother Musalia Mudavadi. Ford Kenya of Wetangula is in your pocket. ODM is now talking about supporting you post-2027.
But when you go out there and you are deflecting, ni kama shida satoka mahali pengine, it means you are just paying lip service to the problems ambazo zinatusumbua. Sisi tumesema Tawe, tumekataa. Maswala ambayo iko ndani ya nyumba pale, lazima tungangane nazo, na lazima tu resolve. And in the fullness of time, Wakenya watajua ni nani kweli yako kwa upande wa pinzani ama nani anataka kupiga kelele ila yetu aingie kwa serikali.
Governor Natembeya has accused the party of failing to address critical internal issues and lacking a clear vision. He claims the party has been infiltrated by MPs allied to the broad-based government, particularly from Ford Kenya, who attend NEC meetings with the sole agenda of ousting him from office.
To the naysayers, I know you must be very disappointed. There are those of you who had predicted that there will be a split in the party today, that there will be a fight here at Chui House. But as you can see, we've come out of this very, very much united.
Wamalwa says the party's Tuesday meeting resolved to form a tribunal to unlock the ongoing internal dispute and report its findings in 30 days. Apul Kamau, TV47.
In other news, Kenya is playing host to a major regional radio communications conference, drawing experts from across Africa to address the future of spectrum management, emerging technologies, and the growing importance of data protection. The meeting is part of the continent's preparations for the World Radio Communications Conference set for 2027. During the sessions, participants explored how to secure data handling, strong cybersecurity measures, and updated privacy regulations, which are becoming essential as radio communications technologies evolve. Delegates stressed the need for African countries to coordinate their positions on data privacy and spectrum policy, especially as innovations like 5G, satellite, internet, and cross-border digital services expand across the continent.
Without a well-managed spectrum, all this Internet of things we're talking about, cannot work effectively or indeed grow. So our future, our connected future really depends on a very, very well-managed spectrum. With those few remarks, it's now my great pleasure to declare the 10th Sub-Saharan Africa Spectrum Management Conference and the 2nd Africa Preparatory Meeting for WRC 2027 officially opened.
Of course, we work with the service providers, we work with government in terms of sensitization. We work with the public in terms of strong password. There are now various equipment and service providers do embed systems that have, inbuilt in them child online protection for that matter, where, there are protocols for a child to access certain services. So again, the protection begins with the individual.
The matter of agenda items like the ban used by the TV, which for Kenya is a no-go zone for now. For Kenya is not a no-go zone, but very slowly in 2031 conference we'll discuss what to do with that ban. We may share with you, others may share, the TV and mobile may share, because there are rules. It's managing the coexistence, what are the power levels and etc. So the discussions are interesting. The different sectors, the broadcast sectors, the satellite sectors, we are heavily satellite this time.
In other news, let's have a look at business. And Kenya and Iran have agreed to set up a joint committee that will work over the next 60 days to remove any barriers concerning trade, paving the way for lifting the ban on Kenyan tea exports to Iran. The deal was reached during the 7th Kenya-Iran Joint Commission for Cooperation in Nairobi and comes in the wake of a scandal involving a Cup of Joe Limited, accused of exporting low-grade tea as premium Kenyan produce. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says that stricter regulations will be put in place to protect the industry, which in 2023 earned 5.85 billion shillings from 17.8 million kilograms of exports to Iran. The framework aims to restore trust and resume trade before the set deadline.
We want to sell our tea to Iran. Iranian businessmen have told us that once we open the door, Kenya does not need another market for orthodox tea, that Iran alone can be able to take all the orthodox tea that we have. So it is good news. It will be good news once we resolve it to our Kenyan farmers, in particular the tea sector, that this issue is resolved.
Absa Bank Kenya has reported a 9% rise in profit after tax, reaching 11.7 billion for the half year ending June the 30th, 2025, delivering a 26.5% on a return, of course, on equity. The bank's total assets grew by 10.4% to 532 billion shillings, while customer deposits were able to grow or increase 2.3% to 361 billion. Revenue dipped 1.2% to 31.5 billion shillings, driven by a 2.9% drop in net interest income to 22.3 billion. Though this was, of course, offset by a 3.3% rise in non-interest income. Now, all this is it's a lot of technical information here, but the CEO, Abdi Mohammed, credited the performance to resilience, strategic investments and sustainability initiatives, with 20 billion shillings channeled into green finance. Impairment charges, of course, fell sharply by 38% to 3.2 billion shillings, which, of course, works to strengthen Absa Bank's balance sheet at the end of the day.
It is expected in this kind of environment, corporates will always continue to, go for these facilities, but we've seen a lot of preference, not just on the corporate side, but also on the side of consumer for short-term facilities. We've seen preference for overdrafts, trade facilities, specifically for consumer payroll loans, and our Timiza product also doing well in this environment.
Core to our strategy, there are a number of areas in which we expect to deploy AI and areas that we are continuing to do.
Still in business, the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, or CIPS, is set to open a regional office in Kenya, which is in line with the government's commitment to digitize public procurement. Global CEO Ben Farrell says that the decision to establish a long-term presence in the country reflects the growing opportunities in procurement across Africa, as well as Kenya's strides in adopting e-procurement systems. The institute, of course, has aimed to boost efficiency, transparency, and international collaboration in the area.
It's great to see the government committed to modernising procurement, e-procurement and embracing technology. I mean, my enthusiasm for that type of thing is limitless. I've seen a lot of AI being rolled out around the world. And for example, we've just signed an MOU with the Nigerian government actually to help write a procurement strategy to embrace the sort of things that we're talking about, technology and the associated structure. And one of the other things that we're working hard on is around ethical practices, because one of the things that SIPS was formed on in 1932 was the expectation.
All right, that's about all we had in store for you in terms of a roundup of what's happening across our world. We want to take a short break, but the QR code remains right beneath the screen, or right at the bottom of the screen, I beg your pardon, right next to our dear sign language anchor, Rhoda Nyamai. We want to take a short break. Please scan, send in your feedback on that very QR code. When we come back, we will have the conversation we've all been waiting for. The People's Court will be on, and devolution will be on trial.